Okay, I've got my speed loaders loaded up here, and with this type, I like this type because you can't screw these up, unlike the ones that are longer that you can actually push from the top to help start the projectile. You have to dump the powder out in this one first. You can't just stick it down in the muzzle and push down and start the bullet. So don't ask me how I know about that. We can see there was a place for the primer here. There's 80 grains of the Hodgdon 777 in there, and then my 245 grain bullets here are in there. The green belt is the gas seal inside. So when you're ready for one of these, I'll just simulate the powder pouring since I already have a charge in here. Now in the state of Washington, a muzzleloader is not loaded until there's a primer on the nipple. But as we can see, this is the powder charge and the bullet in there, and that's how much the rod sticks out the end. So that's one way you can tell it's loaded. So you can legally transport a muzzleloader technically not loaded, but it's because it's not primed that constitutes it being unloaded. So if anybody is wondering about the ball starter, sometimes it might be a tight squeeze in the muzzle there. You use this part right here to get it started first, and then you turn it over and then press down, or you can smack it. That's why it's round, so you can smack it to help get it started, and it'll get it down in there so you can get your rod on there. And you either have to hit it and pound it and get it started, or with these actually load really nice in this 50 caliber muzzleloader, so you don't have to press very hard to get them in, and I don't really have to hammer with the rod to get it down either. There's a spot right down here in the middle after you shoot a couple times, but after you push down through that, then it settles down. And one thing I've heard with this Hodgdon 777 is you don't want to compact it a lot. You don't want to pack it in there really hard with the bullet on top. So I push it in until I feel it stop, and then I stop there. But you just want to be careful that there's no air pockets in there as well, because that can cause inaccuracies. But this is the measurer that I'm using. You can see the numbers on there. Right now it's stopped right at 80 grains. And this is the powder flask that I'm using. You just push the button in and you turn it over and it comes out the funnel here. So that's about it for muzzleloading and getting her all loaded up. So I'm ready to go. All I have to do when I get out in the woods is throw a primer on there, and I'll be good to go. And the other thing that's nice about this is it's got the set trigger on it. The rear trigger sets the trigger, and then it makes the front trigger feather light. So one thing you want to do also with these is remember not to dry fire them on a naked nipple like that, because you can round the top and then eventually you won't be able to fit a primer over it. But that's one reason I carry a backup, in case something like that should happen just from shooting and the primers being exploded on there too over time could cause that to happen. So if anybody has any questions or comments, go ahead and hit me up, and I'll see what I can do to answer any questions, or one of these days maybe we'll get this thing in action. I do have a video up of it shooting at night, but the other thing with this 777 stuff is it's not, it doesn't produce a lot of blue smoke like normal black powder. I was having a hard time finding black powder anywhere. They're just not selling it. A lot of people aren't stocking it. It costs a lot of money to do that, I guess. One guy said you have to have a license for it. Whether you do or not, I don't know. I don't deal in black powder, so. But this substitute stuff, it shoots well. I had 2 of these touching at 25 yards on a target, so. Marshall Zukov signing out.